Hello, everybody. How are you today? I hope that you are having a wonderful day. Um, I wanted to talk a little bit more about what happened on at Trafalgar Square last weekend, and I'm going to start with the scripture. That's Exodus chapter 14, verses 16 and 21. That's Exodus chapter 14, verses 16 and 21. And it says there, "As for you, lift up your rod and stretch your hand out over the sea and split it apart, that the sons of Israel may go through the midst of the sea on dry land." And verse 21 says, "Moses now stretched his hand out over the sea, and Yah began making the sea go back by a strong east wind all night long, and converting the sea basin into dry ground, and the waters were being split apart." And also Exodus chapter 17, verses 11 to 13. This is when the Amalekites came to attack Israel. And it says, "And it occurred that as soon as Moses would lift his hand up, the Israelites proved superior. But as soon as he would let down his hand, the Amalekites proved superior. When the hands of Moses were heavy, then they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat upon it, and Aaron and Hur supported his hands, one on this side and the other on that side, so that his hands held steady until the sun set. Hence Joshua vanquished Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword." So the point is from those verses that the power was displayed to the people of Elohim through the hand of Moses, through his outstretched hand. And I guess to make that more visible, Moses held a rod. And this reminded me of something that happened at Trafalgar Square, because before I went to Trafalgar, I had agreement with a friend that I went with that if there was any trouble, we would go the opposite direction. But I happened to be on the steps leading up to the National Gallery. I was to the right of the gallery. If you're facing the protest platform, if you're facing the gallery, I was to the right, and they're wide open steps. I don't know how big they are. They're big. It's London. And anyway, there was a level platform on of these steps, and when the riot police turned up, my mind was telling me to stick to our agreement, to go the opposite direction and go down the steps with my friend, but my heart was telling me no. You know, it's just a sight of these police. My heart moved me to go up the steps. And I believe that I was meant to do that because something happened there. And I've learned so much from it, because I was there calling these stormtroopers brown shirts. Yeah, and the guy in the middle of this whole row of officers, he must have been 6 foot and a well-built guy. And I just looked at his face, happened to look at his face. He was just relishing all the anger, all the animosity, all the negative vibes that were being hurled at them. And I looked at this man and I thought, no, this is what they want. I've got to stop. And right at the very front of this crowd of protesters, I turned and I faced them and had my back to the police, stretched out both my arms towards the crowd and gestured with my palms down. Calm, calm. This is what they want. And it worked. Yeah, it worked. Except for one guy who probably was on really for the other team. But yeah, I went down to the bottom of the stairs after this crowd had calmed down, and my friend was there talking to this woman, and I let them, I didn't interrupt their conversation or anything. And later on, it turned out to be the same woman that was caught on film being shoved by a police officer, an older lady. My friend said that she was Irish, and I read comments under a video saying that she had a fake Irish accent, but I wouldn't know. I don't remember. I didn't talk to her myself, but yeah. Excuse me. I was sent a video by my friend, I think the next day, of a very short clip of this woman going flying, and then I saw other clips, and the one in the link below, I believe, is accurate. It shows events in consecutive order, and she is seen in this clip standing on a chair. Another video somewhere else, I know that later on a police officer comes along and pulls that chair out from underneath her. But in this video, she's seen on her feet, quite well and able, doing what she's got to do. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is I looked at a number of different footage on different channels of this woman, and I just thought, what is going on with her? She seems like indestructible, flung about like a rag doll, and the next minute she's up on her feet, she's crawling along, getting in the crowd, and I couldn't figure it out. I just thought to myself, she's tough, she's Irish, maybe she's, got a history getting involved in, whatever. There was troubles over there for a long time, but maybe she's got superhuman powers. And I mean that because I watched the footage over and over again, the one I've left in the link below, and she's standing on a red chair, and she's waving her hands in a similar manner that I did to how I did it. But I looked at the footage, and if you examine it closely, you can see that she's doing the opposite. She's got her hand held out just briefly. She's got a stick in her right hand, and rather than waving to calm the crowd down, she's gesturing from down up and around. What she's doing, I believe, is witchcraft. It's black magic. She's stirring up the crowd, the opposite to what my natural inclination was, try and calm the crowd down. She's working for them, and they want the crowd stirred up. And I believe this woman is a pagan. Her clothes are the colours of nature. She's got green, possibly a wool suit, maybe a wool blend suit on. While she's on the chair, she's got a brown hat on. She's got red hair, and she's standing on a red chair. I understand only from December last year the significance of these colours, because the occult crossed my path and I learned some things from that experience. And numbers have a significance to the occult, and also colours. And this woman's maybe pagan Luciferian, I don't know. She's wearing the colours of nature. But when it comes to red, she maybe didn't need a red hat on because she's already got red hair. And she's got red underneath her like feet, like she's standing on a judgment seat. If that makes sense. I would have liked to kind of expand on that a little bit more, but red is the colour of judgment. When you're ready to judge, you put a red hat on. That's what the Satanists do. Yeah, so basically, I believe that I was meant to, when the police, the riot police turned up, I made the right decision to go up the stairs and have that experience of outstretched arms calming the crowd, and then later on to see this woman on caught on film doing the exact opposite, outstretched arms like Moses with a stick, stirring up the crowd. That is black magic right there, caught on camera in process. And you know, maybe you would just brush that aside and say no, and maybe you can see where I'm coming from with this and understand that we are in a satanic battle. This is a satanic warfare that has been unleashed on all of humankind, and we are not going to win this battle. This war is going to be completely lost unless organisers of these protests fully understand this, that no matter what, we must remain calm and peaceful and give out a positive vibe, even under provocation, even under attack. We cannot respond the way that we have done the past 2 weeks at Trafalgar Square. I've seen other footage where there was a man who had a megaphone, and the police and the protesters had already started to clash, and he's on this megaphone, he's just saying repeatedly, peaceful. I think it's police, we're peaceful, police, we're peaceful, police, be peaceful. He just said it over and over and over and again, but he was only one voice, and the crowd were not listening to him. There was clashing, how the battle had already begun. But in future, you know, we need to really prepare beforehand. That there are more people maybe in yellow vests, more protesters maybe who were there to keep the peace, just in ordinary clothes. So when these events break out, they know what to do, how to keep the crowd calm. Yeah, I did want to talk a little bit more about how power comes out of our hands. As human beings, we can't do hardly anything without using our hands. You know, we eat, we brush our teeth, we brush our hair, we get dressed. We transmit power through our hands. Maybe it's a punch or slap across the face in anger. It might be a reassuring touch. You know, it might be something like a healing therapy, massage. Power comes through our hands. And then there's other power, like on a next level, from Heavenly Father on the one hand, through Christ, and then the opposer, Satan, the devil. Yeah, and if we're channeling either of those energies, we command that power through our hands. And that's what I did. Yeah, and that's what this woman did. Yeah, for bad, for wrong, for evil. She channeled a negative energy on the crowd. She stood on that chair, so she had a head above the crowd, and she's waving her stick about like a wand. She's bubbling up a negative energy within the crowd. And yeah, the enemy did well at Trafalgar last week. They got untold images of bloodied heads, of assaults, of conflict, confrontation, anger. They caught all of that on camera. And when you go on YouTube, that's what you see about the protest. That this was their mission, to get the crowd angry and to get all of these images out there, flooded on the internet. That's why it wasn't the right place to arrest anybody. I saw another video where Dr. Schoening was standing right in front of the just a whole swarm of police. Could have arrested him there. They didn't want to. They wanted Trafalgar to go down in history as a trouble war, war between the police and the public, clashes, confrontation, anger, shouting, all of that lot. That's what they wanted Trafalgar known for. Trafalgar Square, the Trafalgar Square I Do Not Consent rally. They wanted it known for that. And then, in fact, I believe they even pushed the doctor so that he would move on to Hyde Park. And then at Hyde Park was a better place to arrest him. More images of clashes with the police, but not that many, really. Yeah, the objective was to get those images at Trafalgar Square and let it be known for that. And then later on, they could arrest the doctor, keep it separate, so the focus stayed on Trafalgar. And I wondered if maybe they'd shot themselves in the foot arresting the doctor, because there's so much interviews he's made with German channels, and just so much because it was a wrongful arrest and he was a total innocent man. So there's loads of videos again on the internet about that, but no, I don't. These people know exactly what they're doing. There's a big protest coming up this weekend, the 10th, in Berlin, and Dr. Schoening, if he wasn't already in the spotlight, he most certainly is now, and he potentially can draw more crowds to the protest in Berlin. And I will guarantee you that their agenda is to make happen at Berlin what happened in London. And so really, I'm just putting a call out to organisers. Don't fall for this. Don't fall for this in Berlin the same way we fell for this in London. Don't let the police antagonise. Keep calm. Turn your back on them. Practice psychological warfare against them the same way they're practicing against us. Fight fire with fire. And as an ex-Jehovah's Witness who's been shunned for 14 years by them, and also I was shunned by the occult for 7 weeks in London. I mean, it has such a powerful effect. And yeah, when the police turn up, turn your back on them. Stay silent. Don't say anything to them. Yeah, and it will be powerful. It will be powerful. I was thinking recently about, well, just today actually, I saw a video some years ago now of a march in America, and it was very, very powerful because the people marched along the street with their hands up, and when they reached a line of police officers, they then got down on their knees with their hands up, and it was a quiet protest. It was so powerful. So yeah, we have to get this under control, guys, because this is a warfare that they're applying all these kind of tactics on us, and they really did get the better of us at the weekend. And looking over the footage, I was drawn to the MP on the helmets of these riot police, and it doesn't, in my mind, it doesn't stand for Metropolitan Police. It stands for Masonic Police, because the police are infiltrated top to bottom by Freemasons, practices of servers of Lucifer, and practices of dark arts, whether they realise it or not. Those at the top fully know that. But yeah, I wanted to read some other scriptures. Romans 12, 17 to 21. That's Romans. Romans chapter 12. I can find it. Romans chapter 12, verses 17 to 21 says, "Return evil for evil to no one. Provide fine things in the sight of all men. If possible, as far as it depends upon you, be peaceable with all men. Do not avenge yourselves, beloved, but yield place to the wrath, for it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, says Yah. But if your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he is thirsty, give him something to drink, for by doing this you will heap fiery coals upon his head. Yeah, so return good things for the evil. And verse 21, do not let yourself be conquered by the evil, but keep conquering the evil with the good. And last week at Trafalgar, we were totally conquered by the evil. And we need to understand that there are dark forces that are working. Yeah. Ephesians describes them as a wicked spirit forces in the heavenly places. And they're being channeled through witches like this woman right in amongst us. And I will be praying over Berlin this week. And the protests, where anti-globalist protests, wherever they're going on in the world. I think we need to offer our prayers. And as Christians, we need to go in amongst these protests and look out for sorcery that is going on, and pray over it. Stand against it if you see it, because this really is a satanic agenda that's being worked out, and they are calling upon these forces of darkness to see through their evil vision, to either depopulate the planet or to enslave us. I did want to talk a little bit more about that as well, because I was saying in my last video how I felt certain things didn't add up. The globalists want power, control, and to me it didn't make sense that you're then going to depopulate the planet to only 5 million people. 5 billion, I keep saying that. No, sorry, 500 million. Yeah, 500,000. I think I should have ended this video by now. 500 million people, that's right. This sounds like such a tiny number. Anyway, that is because I believe they are getting ready to invade. They want to put on flesh bodies in the form of aliens, and they need the space. And they want a planet where all of those servings are ones who submit themselves willingly to the devil and to the Luciferian system. Yeah, and everybody else has got to go. That makes sense. Anyway, I think I better leave this here for now. And yeah, bye for now.